Only a few years ago, Heliod Company was regarded as the best deck of the format, yet today you can't even find it on MTG Goldfish. So what gives? How can a deck completely disappear in such a short time frame? Well, this deck could only be a thing with the release of Theros Beyond Death, bringing the combo piece Heliod Sun Crown back in 2020. For those of you who don't know the combo, here's how it works. You need either Heliod Sun Crown and Spike Feeder, or Heliod and Walking Ballista. If you have Heliod and Spike Feeder, you can remove a counter from Spike Feeder and gain 2 life. Then Heliod triggers because you gained life. This means you can put a counter on Spike Feeder, allowing you to remove a counter and repeat this process until you have a quintillion life or so. Now, in order to make the Heliod and Walking Ballista combo work, you need to make sure the Walking Ballista has 2 counters on it. Then use Heliod to give lifelink to the Walking Ballista. Now, whenever you use the ability to ping something, you gain life, since Walking Ballista has lifelink. This means you can remove a counter to hit your opponent and gain a life. Because you gained a life, you can put a counter on Walking Ballista and then repeat that process all over again until you drain your opponent. When this combo was discovered, it saw a good amount of play, and people putting together the first list tried out Abzan, and there was a particularly broken card that was still legal in the format that was a bit of a staple of the deck. Once upon a time. Yet, for the most part, the list is the same as the Celestia list you see today, with just a few new exceptions. What made this deck so good was its ability to get straight into the game with an aggro plan, plus holding onto a solid combo that was really hard to deal with. At the time, if Heliod wasn't a creature, it was basically unkillable, and having Indestructible was extremely relevant versus the removal at that time. Yet in February of 2021, after the banning of a particular magic card, the hype for this deck increased quite a bit since Uro decks being heavy on counter magic and mana advantage didn't really help this deck resolve its combo pieces. And now with that struggle out of the way, many people believed Heliod Company would be the new best deck in the format next to Tron. And those people weren't wrong. The list was able to put up good results. Yet at one point the deck just dropped off. And while most people will tell you the reason the deck fell off was because of MH sets, I would like to bring up another point that I don't see brought up too much, and it might be a bit more controversial. So first, let's bring up the obvious, Modern Horizons 2. This set came bundled with answers to this deck. The once nearly untouchable Heliod is no longer a problem to Prismatic Ending, and Heliod Company decks would force you to tap out on their turn to deal with an end-step Collected Company, but now with free instant speed answers like Solitude and Subtlety, that is no longer such a reliable play. Dressdown's popularity also didn't help the deck anymore, being able to shut down their combo pieces, and decks like Hammer could go after their infinite life with infect damage from Inkmoth Nexus. Even though this deck was significantly weakened with Modern Horizons 2, the deck still has a strong shell, and you see other YouTubers putting in some results, so even though this deck is weakened, it shouldn't be flat out gone. Well, my theory for this deck's disappearance is that people just really don't feel like playing this deck anymore. A lot of people who bought into the deck got it because they wanted to win or see what this new combo was about, and after the deck was weakened by Modern Horizons 2 and it wasn't getting the same easy results like the deck used to, I bet a lot of people just stopped playing it and moved on to what is new. Now, you might be saying to yourself, but decks like Jund and Control have all seen better days, so why haven't people abandoned playing those decks too? Well, here's the thing. Those decks had way longer in the sunlight for players to really enjoy those decks, bringing nostalgia to that archetype, and more devotion to playing that deck even in a harder metagame. Yet not only that, but in Heliod Company decks, the end result of a win can feel linear. Now, I'm not saying the deck doesn't have different lines. In fact, there are many different ways to go about games depending on the matchup, yet a lot of games will end in one of two combo finishes, and if that is the only modern deck you hold on to, I can imagine after a while you will lose interest in the deck just because you have played each interesting line repeatedly. And after the deck was weakened, the hype for the combo had already been out for a while, so there was little interest to keep going at it. Yet those are my thoughts, and feel free to share yours in the comments. I would love to hear them, and I will see you next time.